Never underestimate the power of youths in a society. When they come together in a united voice and fight against injustice, they are extremely powerful. We will be talking about the GenZ protest that has just happened in Kenya. It's just the beginning because the young people are tired. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening or watching my last episode. This is not just for me, this is also for you. I want you to enjoy it, so let me know what it is that you want me to talk about. And also don't forget to like, share, and subscribe in the episodes, comment section, put your opinions. I will reply. Never underestimate the power of youths in a society. When they come together in a united voice and fight against injustice, they are extremely powerful. And the Kenyan government has found that out the hard way. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening or watching my last episode. A lot of you reached out via DMs and you seem to really like the last topic, and I'm happy about that. So please don't forget, let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about. Let me know the topics that you like. I will gladly talk about them. This is not just for me, this is also for you. I want you to enjoy it, so let me know what it is that you want me to talk about. And also don't forget to like, share, and subscribe in the episodes, comment section, put your opinions. I will reply, gladly reply. If you disagree, that's fine. If you agree, that's fine. Whatever it is, do not forget to do that. And with that, let's go to today's topic. I'm sure you can guess what we're talking about. We will be talking about the GenZ protest that has just happened in Kenya. And yeah, there's a lot to discuss in that. So I want to start by reading an article by Zuma Press. Bold young protesters from what is often referred to as Generation Z or Gen Z, the term generally used to describe people born during the late 1990s and early 2000s, expressed their anger at how the government in Kenya has been offloading its problems onto citizens. We are already paying taxes and they're not doing much with it. It gets stolen. So how can we trust them with more? Makena Kahuha, an actor and content creator, told DW. Another protester, Pamela Muriki, is also disappointed. They prefer allegiance to the government instead of the voters who voted them in, she says. In contrast to previous protests led by opposition party members, the current demonstrations were led by young citizens who chanted anti-government slogans and waved placards disparaging the bill. Africa is the richest continent when it comes to natural resources. This is not just me saying it. You can Google it and you will actually see it. It is rich in both renewable and non-renewable gas. Just name it. They have it all. And yet, it is considered the poorest continent in the world. As a lot of people would say, the math is not mathing. And the reason why I'm talking about this, because I think it's directly correlated to the protests that are going on now in Africa, because this is just the beginning. So many more protests are going to happen. It's just the beginning because the young people are tired. They're tired of the status quo. The status quo is a direct result of these African countries being ripped off of their natural resources. By who? By the modern day colonizers. Because you have historical colonizers, the ones that we all know, the colonized African countries. And then after that historical one, we have the modern one, the modern time one, the one in which they rip off these countries of their resources, not giving them what they're worth, not paying them for what the resources are worth, to the benefit of their people and detriment of the people in Africa. This has a flip side. The flip side is that when people don't have hope because of hunger, because of poverty, because of lack of security, because of everything that comes with having a very poor society, they leave in search of better, greener pastures. They embark in dangerous journeys to go to countries where they believe they can have a hope at a better life and a better life for their children. That in turn has caused mass illegal immigration in the Western world, the countries in the Western world, which now has become a topic that everybody seems to want to talk about when it comes to politics, right? The crisis at the borders, and I'm talking about the different borders. This is going on in Europe and the US and the United Kingdom, everywhere. And listen, if you want to talk about the root causes of immigration, then you have to talk about the fact that these countries are being ripped off of their natural resources. Because if their natural resources were left for them and you were partners, and when I mean you, I don't mean you, these countries, right, partnered with Africa in equal terms. We buy from you, you give us the resources that we need. You both win, right? These other countries win, the African countries win. Not to say that corruption is not a big part of the problem in Africa, but a lot of the corruption stems from this very fact. Because in order for these countries to continue to be able to rip off Africa, they encourage corrupt leaders to keep on being at the head of the governments. They encourage that because that's the only way they can continue to benefit by ripping off these countries of the resources. So everything is connected. And you can Google all of this, by the way. So what is going on? What's going on is that we are in 2024. The poverty situation has gotten worse. It gets worse every time. When you think it's going to get better, it just gets worse. Young people are saying, that's enough. That's enough. We are going to fight. We're going to stand up for what is right, fight against injustice that is being done, with the hope that we can secure a better future for the future generations. And that's why I started this episode by saying, when young people stand together in a united voice against injustice, it's very powerful. Because you have the Kenyan government now backtracking and saying, okay, we've heard you. We're going to not go ahead with the bill that we wanted to go ahead. We have heard you. You have other countries like Nigeria, who the youths are preparing for another protest to happen. And the government being shaky about it, being uncomfortable about it, because they know this can get really, really ugly. And let me tell you, when these young people, courageous young people, get up and protest, they do that risking their lives. Because unlike in the Western world, in a lot of these African countries, the government doesn't respect the rights of the citizens to protest. They go ahead and they kill and they do all sorts of things. And these young people know this, but they fight anyway. And that tells you the level of desperation that they have gotten to, for them to be willing to risk their lives to fight for a better future for Africa. A better Africa means a better world. Like I said again, it's all connected. Africa being able to prosper and be what it's actually meant to be because of the God-given resources that it has doesn't just favor the African people, but it also favors all these countries that are complaining about the illegal immigration that they're going through, that they're facing. It favors them as well. Recently, the Prime Minister of Italy, who I don't agree with practically everything she says, except for this one thing, right? She talked about partnering with Africa as equal partners so that they can benefit from the partnership, and also the Western world can benefit because that would help tackle the current migrant crisis that is going on. She presented this at the G7. She has been advocating for this for some time now. And I really do hope that these other countries listen to her and go through the route of partnering with Africa as against ripping Africa off. Because honestly, with what I'm seeing that is happening with these protests in Africa, this could get ugly very quickly. Like I said, this is just the beginning. I honestly predict more and more protests. Unfortunately, more and more innocent lives being lost, fighting for the rights of the people. And I would really hope that we don't get to that point before there is change. Change is needed. Change has been needed for a long time, but now more than ever, it's needed. People are suffering. People are suffering for no fault of theirs. Because let me tell you something. Everybody deserves the opportunity to get proper education. Everybody deserves the opportunity to get a good job, a decent job, after getting proper education that allows them to live a decent life. Everybody deserves the opportunity to be able to get proper health care if and when needed. Everybody deserves the opportunity to live some kind of dream, for goodness sake. And I don't mean like dream in a mass, just be able to dream and fulfill their dreams and not be told constantly that you cannot be who you want to be because the country cannot give you that. People deserve to have the basic things that human beings need to survive. Not just people in the Western world, people in Africa, people all over the world deserve that. But most especially when your country, and your continent in this case, is rich in all of these resources. Why shouldn't Africans get these rights and these benefits? How long will it take before the world understands that this needs to happen? It should have already happened, but it absolutely needs to happen. Africa needs to be treated fairly so that they can become the continent they were always meant to be. Honestly, people don't just leave their homes, their friends, all they have known their whole life, to embark on dangerous journeys to go to other countries, to unknown countries to them, because they just want to, because they just like the idea. They do it because they see no hope where they are. Because for them, things have gotten so bad that they know that they may lose their life in such dangerous journeys, but they do it anyway, because at least they can have a chance at hoping for a better life for themselves, for their children, for their generations. Nobody, no human being should have to be in a position where they have to make such a difficult choice. I think anybody with any atom of common sense should be able to agree to that, should be able to say, yes, that's correct. No one should have to make that choice. So honestly, I am going to be following what's happening in Kenya. As of now, the Kenyan government seems to have backed down from going ahead with the bill that caused this specific protest. I don't know that I trust them 100%, so I'm still watching to see if they'll continue on that route. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are going to be more protests going on, even in Kenya, because again, there are a lot of things that are not going on right. And I'm also watching what's happening in Nigeria. The GenZ are preparing to protest the government, the corrupt government in Nigeria, and protest inhumane situations in which they're living in right now. When I mean inhumane, I mean the economic situation. And please don't twist my words. I am an African woman. Africa is a beautiful continent. I think it's actually one of the most beautiful continents in the world. But yes, there are parts of it that are being affected by poverty in a very, very unfortunate manner that affects the everyday person. And the reason for this is what I just explained. That's really the root cause of it. And because of this situation now, people are ready to lose their lives fighting for a better future for Africa. And so I really wanted to talk about it. I wanted to talk about what happened in Kenya, the protest, what led to it, but I also wanted to just talk about on a larger scale, what's really leading to the problem in Africa as a whole. And I will be covering whatever protests will happen in Nigeria, I will keep you posted. And again, as I always say, don't just leave me here to be talking to myself. Give me your opinions. Tell me what you think. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, let me know. Go to the comment section. I always read your comments. DM me. Anything you want me to talk about. Share, like, and subscribe the episode. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for tuning in today as well. And I appreciate it so much. And before I let you go, I want to actually close this episode by reading a quote by Banjiro Ikonyo. And he says, "This revolution of young people is the beginning of change. These young people have shown to the older generations how it's done." Bye guys, and thank you so much for tuning in.